Okay, good luck from sunny Florida. Tonight's daf is daf Ayin Dalid. Mistama, the most famous daf in Shas. Mistama, if not the most famous daf, from the most famous daf in Shas, and you'll see why. Okay, we're beginning on Ayin Gimel Amid Beis. Ayin Gimel Amid Beis, about 10 lines up. So we're in the sugya of roidif. We're in the middle of the sugya of roidif. One's roidif after someone, whether you can kill the person. We said whether it's chayve misas bezdin, whether it's chayve krisus, one would be able to go ahead and kill that person. Good? Okay. Now, I'm going to give you the Gemara's kasha now. We said, therefore, if a person is running after another individual, and there's a chiyuv tashlumin at that time, the individual is a chiyuv misa to go ahead and kill him, so therefore he'd be patas kamle b'derab mine. Now, if someone is ba'al achaysai, if someone is an achaysai is chayve krisus, there's a limud in Elun Iris, the third parak in Ksubis, that a ba'al achaysai we say you have to pay kamle b'derab mine, right? Habal achaysai is the chayve krisus. And we say kamle b'derab mine. In other words, even if b'shas yichayiv koris for being with your sister, you're not gonna pay. You're not gonna pay. Isaiah says that's what the Gemara says. You're going to pay. You're going to pay. Fred the Gemara, a great kasha. If you're telling me that when a person is going to be with his sister, someone can kill him, that means he's a bar misa. Memele, if he's a bar misa, he shouldn't have to pay. So how can the Mishnah there say in Ksubis that you do pay when our Mishnah says you don't? So you have a stira, beautiful, a lumdish stira between Mishnah Ksubis and our Gemara. Fred the Gemara. These are the nairis that do have kanas. These are the nairis that there's a din of kanas. You're going to pay, meaning even though kamle, nonetheless you'll pay kanas for being ma'anis. Habala chaysai, someone's with his sister. Now, sister's chayve krisus, nonetheless you say you chayv pay kanas. But 1 second, if you were a bar mavis at that time, so a person can kill you, you should be potter. That's the stira. And for the Gemara, Amru Rabbana Kamei de Rav Chisda, we're going to have a few terutzim into this. Mishas hara de pagma, if delay mikatala. Let's view the act of relations in two parts, the hara and the gamar bia. Hara means as soon as the man's area touches the woman's area, even before penetration. So you be chayiv then misa, right? Anything beyond that, fellas, there's no chayiv misa, you can't kill it. In other words, we paskin inyan aroyos, nishikas ha'aver, just touching, the aver touching creates the chiyav misa. Good. Memela, when are you chayiv kanas? When you take out the basulim. That's later on. We only say kamle b'derab mine when the chiyav misa and mammon happen vasachas. Over here, it's happening at two different times. The chiyav misa is taking place b'shas hara, and the chiyav tashlum is taking place afterwards. Alamdish teretz. Amr Rabbana Kamei Rav Chisda mishas hara de pagma. Again, you're paying for the pagam. If as soon as that's done, you can't kill him anymore. Now, this is very good according to Madiyama that hara is the chiyuv. There's another pshat that's haknasas atara. That's mamish when you're inside. Fred the Gemara. We can break up the act of relations to two parts. We have a chiyuv misa part and a chiyuv mammon part, and we can go ahead and explain why it's a chiyuv mammon, because you're not chiyuv misa at that point in time. Very good. Meaning it's not in the shikas aver. It's a later period of time. That later period of time, you have a chiyuv mammon also. You have a chiyuv mammon also, and the chiyuv misa happens at the same time. So you're back to the stira again. Why are you chayiv to pay kanas by what? In Elun Iris, if you're telling me achnas is atara, that's going to be the gemar bia, meaning it's going to be, you don't need like shich vazera like by shich harufa. An earlier stage, that's going to go ahead and take out the psul and you be chayiv. So what do you do with that? Ma'ik lemeimar. Ella Amrav Kista new teretz. In other words, that teretz does not hold according to the Mali who says that the Chiyav is Achnas Zatara. Says the Gemara, Ella Amrav Kista Kigoin, Sheba Ola Shloi Kedarka. Oh. So he went ahead and he was Baal Shloi Kedarka. Now she's already Nifkam. So he was Chayiv Misa at that time when he's Baal Shloi Kedarka. Now he's Ma'anis HaKedarka. Oh. 1 second. The Chiyav Misa and Tashlumim took place at 2 different times. Very geschmack. So this would work. Says the Gemara, Loitim on the Amma. That says what? That the Chiyav of Aroyes is Hachnas Zatara, and therefore I can't break it up into 2 separate parts. I'll break it up into 2 separate parts this way. In other words, it's the same lumdis behind it, fellas. The reason why we don't say kamle because it's not bivas achas. The question is how you accomplish that. According to the first hara, you accomplished it b'shas l'shikas aver, and then you had the chiyav mammon later on. According to over here, the chiyav misa took place shaloi kedarka, and the chiyav mammon took place kedarka. Therefore, yesh kanas, and therefore it stims with agamor as well. Einachinami, there's a chiyav misa. When was the chiyav misa? On shaloi kedarka. Shaloi kedarka, there is no din of anusa. There's no din of knas. Knas is paid when what? There's no psulim. Okay, that's the teretz of Rav Chisda. Rava Amar, another teretz. She said, listen, leave him alone. Rabbi Yehuda, we saw the shita of Rabbi Yehuda the other day, fellas. Rabbi Yehuda says, if she's scared of being killed, and she says, don't stop him from being ma'anis me. Don't stop him. Again, that's the din. So Mamela, that is speaking. It's speaking over there where there is no chiyav misa. The Mishnah in Ksubis, it's speaking there's no chiyav misa. Why is no chiyav misa? Because she said, allow him to do it because I'm scared he's going to kill me. Rav Papa says, b'mafuta, she agreed to do it. V'divrei hakol. You don't have to say it's according to what? According to Rabbi Yehuda. Guys, if it's a mafuta, meaning she is not an anusa, she's not being forced, but she agreed to it. So therefore, what? There's no, you can't kill the guy. If you can't kill the guy, of course there's a payment. And that's another pshat in the Mishnah So we have 3 pshatim so far. We have kedarka, shaloi kedarka. We have min chasai, according to Rabbi Yehuda, she said, don't kill him. And we have divrei hakol, it's speaking where she's a mafuta. Mafuta, there's no chiyuv to kill him. Why? Because she agrees to do it. Another teretz, Abaya Omar, b'yochel lahatzil b'echem varav. It's speaking where what? This person that is chasing to kill him, you don't have to kill him. No, it's the Mishnah that says that there is a chiyuv money of knas by nachaisai is speaking where what? There's no chiyuv misa. Why? Because meaning you can't kill him. You could maim him. And if you hold that you can maim him and you can't kill him, so in Mela, we're not going to have a kamle. Kamle is where you have misa and mammon. In this case, you're not going to have misa. Why do you have misa? Because you could have gone ahead and maimed him in one of his limbs. Rabbi Yonasan ben Shol, yeah, it's the shita of Yonasan ben Shol. The Tanya, Rabbi Yonasan ben Shol, roidif shahaya roidif acha chaver lahargai. Someone's chasing after his friend to kill him. And he doesn't have to kill the roidif. He can go ahead and maim the roidif. This is the taina that Yoav had on Shaul when he killed Asael, right? He said, you should have maimed him, you shouldn't have killed him, right? Hitzel, Nergalov, and you get killed for killing the Raidif. My time, why do you get killed for killing the Raidif? My time of the Rabbi Yonasan. And Shaul, the Chsiv, the Chiyinatsu Anoshim Yachtov, it says, when 2 men are fighting, they hit a pregnant woman, and she miscarries, and she's alive, meaning she's okay. Then what? You're gonna have to pay. Okay, that's what the pasuk says. What does matzos mean over here? It means that he's mischaven. His kavanah is to kill. His kavanah is to kill the man, and he kills the and he hits the woman. And if there's an asin to the woman, meaning she's going to die. So obviously, what his kavanah was to kill the man who he wanted to kill, to 2 guys. And if there's not going to go ahead and be she's not going to die, anish. If you say that if you're able to go ahead and maim the guy, there's no din of misa on the roidif. That's how that he has to pay. That he's able to go ahead The fellas, how in the world is this guy going to pay? He has a chi of misa. He wants to kill somebody, right? And therefore, he goes ahead and doesn't kill somebody. Why would there be a chi of money to pay over there? Why would you have a case over there? Why would there be in that case over there that we just gave, the two guys are fighting? Why in the world would you go ahead and say that he should have to pay? After all, if the halacha is that they're fighting and this guy hits the other guy. I just have to get this clear. I have to get a little clearer. Hang on a second. I don't have it. I think this is pshat. If this woman dies, there's a din of kamlei. This is one of the sources for kamlei b'derab minei. You put her from paying. If something happens to the woman, you're going to pay, right? And if nothing happens to the woman, meaning the woman doesn't die, then you're going to pay. Now, if you're going to tell me, if you're going to tell me that when a person is roid of another person, that you don't have to go ahead and save that person, meaning you could do, you don't have to hit him in one of the Ivarim. Why in this case over here would you say Kam le b'derab mine? Why would you have to pay? Let's say Kam le b'derab mine. After all, he didn't have to go ahead and hold back. Elai amit that he had to hold back, and therefore there was no chi of misa on the person. Mela, there would be a din of tashlumin on the woman. So it's sushelling, two guys fighting, one being roid of the other. Mela im lo yeh asain. If there's no asain, and why? Because there's no chi of misa. Why is no chi of misa? Because he could have saved him in one of what? In other words, you could have saved him. You could have saved him in one of the Evarim. Therefore, then you have to pay. Masha'en came, if you say you don't have to save him, he should never have to pay. Because I don't have to save you, there's a chi of misa. Once there's a chi of misa, then what? Then you should not have to pay. You should say kam le b'derab minei. Okay, that would be the raya for Rabbi Yonis ben Shol. So in conclusion, we have how many terutzim? Again, what's the kasha? We have Goal kasha. Our Mishnah says that a roid if the chayiv a krisus, there's a mitzvah to kill the guy. The male of fellas, there's a mitzvah to kill the guy. If there's any damage that he causes along the way, there shouldn't be any payment because he's chayiv misa. Good. So therefore habala chaysa. Why in the world is he paying kanas? After all, it's a chi of karis, and therefore why you shouldn't have to pay anything. To that we give a few terutzim. The first teretz is we're going to go ahead and break up. We're going to break up the two things. We're going to break up the chi of mammon and the chi of misa, because you only say kamle when it's simultaneous, right? So therefore, if it's a bia shaloi kedarka, that's the chi of money. That's the chi of misa. And then afterwards, there's the onus you're going to have to pay because it didn't take place at the same time. That was the first teretz. The second teretz was, it's speaking, the Mishnah in Ksubis is speaking according to Rabbi Yehuda, who says that, where she said, don't kill him. So when she said, don't kill him, there's no chi of misa. There's no chi of misa. There's no kam le b'derab minei. Rav Papa said it's speaking by Mefuta, and Rabbi is giving a fourth teretz to speaking where you could have saved him. Since you could have saved him, there's no chi of misa, and therefore there's a chi of money, and we'll say, we will not say kam le b'derab minei. Okay. Hey, now says the Gemara. Okay, let's says the Gemara of Aita. Okay, so that was the teretz. Now the shiny hacha Dilma says the Gemara. Maybe it's different. Shiny hacha the misa lezeh v'tashlum lezeh. How could you give this teretz, fellas? How could you give this teretz? Right, the misa, and over here, who's getting the money? The Mei V'Lados is going to the husband. Who's the misa? Is the woman. So maybe over here we say this din of Yachal Hatzil Ech Meivarav. But when it's in the same person, maybe we don't make a distinction. That's why I afraid the Gemara. Says, look at Rashi. Dil Mishani Hacha Lahacha Mishalem. Here's the reason you're paying the Mei V'Lados. The Afagad Tzad Misa, even though there's a Tzad Misa, right? Mishum the Misa Lezeh v'Tashlum Lezeh. Hamisa v'Tashlum Eina Boyin Loi Ayidei Odam Echad. It's not coming from the same person. Shamisa Bo Elov Bishvil Chaveroi Shohaya Meir Vimoi. The Misa is coming as the result of the person he's fighting with. Vatashlumin the bala isha, and the payment is to the husband of the woman. It's called the mevladais, the onish, the alma, the inish the almahu is a totally different person. Hilkach loy miftim mitashlumin the high mishum chiyav misa the mechayva idach. In other words, you have no raya from the case of the mevladais. One more time, you want to bring a raya, two people fighting, and what, and you want to tell me that what? That since you could hit him, there's a chiyav tashlumim because you should have saved him. It says the Gemara, what's your tushtel? That's speaking about two separate people. You want to hit one person, you end up hitting a woman, and then you give the money to the Baal. Here we're speaking about what? We're speaking about the same individual. We're speaking about the achaisa. You're speaking about you're doing something to this woman. So the same person. So maybe you can't learn out from here. As I read the Gemara. It says Gemara, and for the Gemara Leishna, there's no difference between if the Misan Tashlumin is one person, and Misan Tashlumin is two separate people. Dama Rava, Roidiv Shahaya Roidiv Achaver Lahargai. A person's chasing after his friend to kill him. Vishibar Esak Kalim, and he breaks Kalim. So the Roidiv is breaking Kalim. So the Roidiv is Chayiv Misa. Memela he should be potter from breaking Kalim as about Kamle. Bain Shel Nerdif, whether the Kalim be born to the person he's chasing after, Ubain Shel Kol Adam, or some other person, potter. My timer, Mischayev ben Afshahu. Since the Roidif, the one chasing, is Chayev ben Nefesh, we say Kamle b'd Rab Minei, regardless of the Kalim that he breaks. However, the Nirdav Sheshiva Esa Kalim, the Nirdav was running away and accidentally he goes ahead and breaks Kalim. Shala Roidif, if it's the Roidif's Kalim, the one who's chasing after him, Potter. However, Shal Kol Adam, but if it's from somebody else, then Chayev. So guys, let's go. The Roidif is Potter in any scenario, Kamle. The Nirdiv is Potter only if he breaks the Roidif's Kalim. But if the Nirdiv breaks what the Kalim of the people, Adam Mu'ud Oilam. Despite the fact he's in dire straits, okay. But if he breaks the Roidiv's Kalim, he would be Potter. My timer, Mischai ben Nafshehu, what's the reason the Roidiv is Potter? Because it's Chayev ben Nefesh. The Nirdiv Sheshiba Esa Kalim shall Roidiv Potter, shall call them Chayev. Shall Roidiv Potter, why is he Potter if he breaks the Roidiv's Kalim? Guys, just like the Nirdiv could kill the Roidiv, certainly can break his Kalim, right? Fellas, if you can kill the moment, kill the goof of the guy, certainly you can break his Kalim, right? That makes sense. The Shar Kol Adam Chayev, why Shematz Latz might be Mammon Chaveroi? He's being matzal himself with the woman of his friend. He's being matzal himself with his friend. He has to pay. For roidif shoy roidif acha roidif. This is what we need, guys. For roidif shoy roidif acha roidif lahatziloi. So you have three guys now: Ruvain, Shimon, and Levi. Shimon's chasing Levi. Ruvain now is chasing Shimon. So Ruvain is a roidif acha Shimon, the roidif who's chasing Levi, and Ruvain's chasing Shimon to save Levi. V'shiv res kalim. And Ruvain breaks Kalim, Bein Shel Haroidif, where he breaks Shimon's Kalim, Bein Shel Nirdof, where he breaks Levi's Kalim, Ubein Shar Kol Adam, or any other person, Pata. Right? Now, why is he Pata? L'chari, he should be Chayim another person's Kalim, Adam Mudoilam, guys. Yeah? Says the Gemara, V'loy min adin, it's not min adin that Ruvain's Pata on breaking Harry's Kalim. Shemi'ata Oimakain, if you're telling me that he's Michai for breaking Kalim, you know what? If I can come to a chiyav tashlumim, I'm not going to go ahead and save the guy. So, in order to facilitate people caring enough to go ahead and chase it and save a person, a roidif after a roidif is pata if he breaks anybody's kalim. Okay. So the Mishnah said, "Aval roidif acha behema." If someone's chasing after behema to go ahead and do an action with the behema, there's no mitzvah to go ahead and save and kill the guy. We said yesterday, guys, right? There's two dinim. There's the din of the roidif and the nirdaf. In other words, there's what's going to happen to the nirdaf. The nirdaf's going to die. You're killing a person. The nair murasa, she's going to be nifkam. Masha'enkin, if it's one-sided. In other words, we spoke out. Even if you're saving this guy from doing an aveira with an animal, it's not enough of a reason to kill him. In other words, it needs to be that it's two to tango, right? It's not only the roidif, it's got to be who he's doing it to. And an animal we don't care about. So therefore, a roidif acha behema, If someone's ready for the behema, then you don't kill him. Tanya, Rabbi Shimon ben Yochai Omer, ha'ovid avodas kechavim, nitain latzila benafshay. If someone goes through avodah zara, you can kill him. Mikal v'chaymer. Uma pegam lehedyet. Where you're making a pegam to a hedyet to a naymarasa. Nitain latzila benafshay. So either roitzeach or naymarasa, you're able to kill the guy. Pogam gevoya like kol shekain. When it comes to pegam and shemayim like kol shekain. Good? Guys, kal v'chaymer. Madoch, someone who's chasing after a person, either to kill or to do an immoral act to the person. You can kill because of what you're about to do. A person who's going to do avodah zara, which is called pagam and shemayim, ain't a din that you should be able to kill the person. Fred the Gemara v'chi oinshin min hadin. Do you oinshin min hadin? Do you learn out what? An oinish makal v'chaymer. Guys, I don't have it with me. I think there's a marsha here. It's a good marmokim, a marsha and oinshim min hadin. I think this is the main source because Kula why we say oinshim min hadin. If I remember from my Rebbe's Zatzal. So again, I don't have a Gemara with me. I have one of these paperbacks. So I think there's a very very nice marsha on here. I don't recall what he says. I mean, I recall some of it, but I'm not going to say it because I'm not sure. Okay. I think it's something like I think 1 second. I'll change my mind. I think he says something like, if you learn an Onish from a Kal V'chomer, how are you sure it's enough of a kapara? In other words, a punishment's got to fit the crime, right? A Kal V'chomer fellas, you darshan yourself. There's no Messiah on a Kal V'chomer, so you have a great Kal V'chomer. It makes a lot of sense. But at the end of the day, how do you know that this what is enough of a kapara? Maybe it's not, because after all, you created it in the first place. I think that's what Marsha says. It's in Cain. If he doesn't say it, it's Geshmak Asfar. But I think he does say it. I think he does say it. Okay, so says the Gemara that Reb Shimon holds on Shimon Adin. So Reb Shimon would say, if you go after Avodah Zara, you would need to seal Menashe, a person can kill him. Tanya, Rebbe Elazar ben Shimon Oimer, Rebbe Elazar, the son of Reb Shimon, says, Hamachal es Shabbos. Go see a person who's going to be Mechal Shabbos, you can kill him. Sabala Kavua, he learns like his father, Dama Oinshim and Adin. Therefore, we learn out of Avodah Zara. That's step number 1. We learn out of Avodah Zara from Pagam of Nair Marasa and Ritzeach. The Asya Chil Mishabis. It says by Shabbos Mechil Lush and Chil by Avodah Kechavim, the exact Lashon, Mechalel Maisyumas. And it says, so by Shabbos it says, by bringing a zera to the moilech, it says like chalel. So therefore, once I've established that Reb Shimon Elazar holds like Reb Shimon, that you're going to go ahead and be mechayev for begam gavoya for avodah zara. Now the second, and Oinshim min adin, because obviously it's a kal v'chomer. Now you're going to learn out mechil, right, from avodah zara to Shabbos, just like avodah zara. You can kill the guy, so to Shabbos you can kill the guy. So Rav Shimon did not say that. Rav Elazar ben Shimon did say that. All right, fellas, we're now beginning. I believe the most famous Gemara in Shas. If it's not, it's got to be the most famous. I'll tell you how famous it is. If I'd ask anyone right now, what are the 3 Averis that Yerek Val Yavar? Everyone sitting on the screen would tell it to me. So you know what I always say? It's a famous thing, and I never like use the word famous, because when you don't know it, it's not famous, right? Over here, this is the source. This is the source. Okay, it says Amar Rabbi Yochanan Mishum Rabbi Shimon Bar Yitzadek Nimnu. They took a vote, the Gomru, and they decided Baaliyah space Nitzah, in the aliyah of a person named Nitzah, Beloid in the town of Loid, Kol Aver Shebetayra, Im Oimrim La'adam, Avar Va'al Tehareg. If a guy tells you, be over the Avera and don't be killed, what's the halacha? Yavar, be over the Avera, be al Yeharag. It says, V'chai B'hem, you're supposed to live. So if a guy tells you to do an Avera, you go ahead, you listen to him, do the Avera and save your life. Chutz mi avodas kechavim, v'gili aroyos l'shvichas damim. What we call the big 3. If a guy tells you to do avodas zara, I'll kill you, die. tells you to do an act of snus, or he'll die, die. Tells you to kill another person, die. Avodas kechavim, right? Says the Gemara, avodas kechavim is a case of yereg val yavar, die and right. 1 second. Vatanya, Rabbi Yishmael, minayin shem amrulay laadam, avid avodas kechavim v'alte hareg. Do avodah zarah and do not be killed. Minayin sheya avoid. How do you know you do the avodah zarah? You do it v'al yehareg. Talmud loymar v'chay b'hem, that the mitzvahs were given to live. V'lo yishiyamas b'hem. Good. Yachal afilu b'farhesya. I might think in front of 10 Jews. Talmud loymar v'leisachal l'shem kotshi v'nikdashti. Okay. So in other words, the only way avodah zarah can be yereg val yavar is if it's a din in chilul Hashem. But if it's not a din in chilul Hashem, then you would be over yavar v'al yehareg. As I state. So you have, we said, Rabbi Yochanan said it was nimna v'gomru in Beis Nitzah Beluz, the big three. Says one, it's the big two, right? It's not avodah zarah. You do avodah zarah and live chai b'hem. The Torah is given to live by them. Oh, but that's dafka what? That's dafka b'tzina. Bifra hesya, it's not a shoyin. It's not in. You got a different. You got a mitzvah to mekadesh the shem. If it's bifra hesya, it means in front of 10 Jews, then it's a mitzvah to mekadesh the shem. For the Gemara, inu, is it really so? Right? Inu meaning the people in Beis Nitzah who held the big three, the Amma Rabbi Eliezer, they hold like Rabbi Eliezer who argues on Rabbi Yishmael. Guys, this is the memra of Rabbi Yishmael that avodah zarah is Yavo al Yehareg. This is Rabbi Yishmael that says Yavo al Yehareg. We hold like Rabbi Yochanan was quoting the Tana Rabbi Eliezer. He was quoting the Tana Rabbi Eliezer. The Tanya Rabbi Eliezer Omer, v'hafta is Shem Elokecha b'chol levavcha b'chol nafshecha b'chol moedecha. Im noimar b'chol nafshecha lama lama b'chol moedecha. Im noimar b'chol moedecha lama necha b'chol nafshecha. Right? The guy who loves himself more than his money, then serve your nefesh. Even avoid the zara, right? Give up your nefesh. He loves his money more. Torah Chaim says he's speaking about a person who worked hard for his money. It's not speaking about a guy who loves his money. He worked hard for his money, every single penny. He was chashuv to him, like Yaakov Avinu with pachim katanim. Like he went back for pachim katanim, as I mentioned, for that. It says, okay? So in other words, that Rabbi Yochanan quoted what went on in Beis Nitzah was according to Rabbi Eliezer. Rabbi Yishmael disagrees. We paskin obviously. Like Rabbi Eliezer in this case, they want the big three. Okay, now everyone knows this Gemara. Everyone knows this Gemara. The next plea of the Gemara, people know, but not as much. Now, where do you know Gili Aroya Shvichas Damim Avodah Zarah from? Says the Gemara, Gili Aroya Shvichas Damim Kid the Rebbe, the Tanya. So in other words, we know Avodah Zarah already, right, guys? We know Avodah Zarah. B'chol nafshecha. B'chol nafshecha. Now, where do you know Shvichas Damim and Gili Aroyas? The Tanya. Rebbe says, it says, Ulanai Rolei Sasa Dava, Ki Kasha Yokum Ish Al Reyehu V'Ritzachai Nefesh. Guys, we said the pasuk that there's a relationship in the pasuk between Nairu Murasa and Ritzicha. Now, we said the other day, Ulanai Rolei Sasa Dava. All right, a person being killed is an honest. He's being killed. So you don't need to tell me right seach to Nair Mirasa that she's off the hook if she's what? If she's an anusa. It says she called out in the sadeh, Ulenair le'sasa davar. So if the relationship to Reitseach is to teach me that an anus is pata, ich das nicht. I don't need that. I know that already. And this we had this, guys. Now, so therefore, what are you learning from Reitseach to what? To Naira. Me'ata, you're telling me that what? That anusa? It can't be that. Harizeh bo l'lamed, it's come to teach me a din of Naira Marusa. V'nimsa laman. I already know that. Naira le'sasidava. I already know Nusa. So there must be a different din Reitseach is teaching me. Umakish Reitseach Naira Marasa. Ma Naira Marasa nitin letzila benafshoy. Just like Naira Marasa is nitin letzila benafshoy, meaning what? That if the Naira Marasa, if someone's going after her to kill, you kill him. Af Reitseach nitin letzila benafshoy. So to Reitseach you kill him, right? So therefore, umakish Naira Marasa lo Reitseach. Ma Reitseach Yehoreg v'lo yavar. Afnai Marasa tehoreg v'al yavar. Okay, guys, let's go. So we have a relationship, right? We have a relationship between Naim Marasa and Reitzeach. Why do I learn out from Naim Marasa to Reitzeach? I learn out the din of Roidif. Just like Naim Marasa, if someone's a Mashiach law, of a Yesh Mashiach law, we said the other day, there's a mitzvah to kill. Reitzeach also is a mitzvah to kill him. Now the other way around. Why do I learn out from Naim Marasa to Reitzeach? Right? Why do we learn from Reitzeach to Naim Marasa? Good. Just like a Reitzeach, if somebody tells you to kill somebody, you don't listen. So too, and this is important. So too, if you the lashon of the Gemara is, guys, af Naim Marasa tehoreg, she should be killed. The al ta'avar. Just like if somebody tells you kill somebody, you have to die. So too, the Naim Marasa, she has to die. And not what given to the guy. This is the girsa that we have. The lashon tehoreg v'al tavar. Good. So you just learned out, fellas, that arayos and Naim Marasa is a horeg v'al yavar, and you also know that Reitzeach is. Now, how do you know Reitzeach? You learned out Naim Marasa from Reitzeach. How do you know if a guy tells you to kill somebody, you're not allowed to kill him? Fred the Gemara Reitzeach gufami nalan. How do you know Reitzeach? Svarahu. There was a person coming in front of Rabbi. The Amrli Mori, this guy's happened. Amrli Mori the Roy, the head of the city, told me, Zil Katle Leplanya, go kill so-and-so. The Eloi, and if you don't kill so-and-so, Katlina Lecha, I'm going to kill you. Amrli Rabbi, you know what Rabbi told him? Lik the luch, go ahead and die. V'loi sikdal, and don't kill. Mi yemar didama didach sumik tfei. How do you know your blood is redder? Dilma dama dahu kamra sumik tfei. Maybe this other person's blood is redder. It's a svara. It's a svara. So now, very geschmack. Someone tells you to kill somebody, I'm going to kill you. Who's to say that your blood is redder than that guy? You got to die. And now I'll learn Naim Marasa to you. So we have the source now, guys. The Chai Bahem. Good. V'chai behem teaches me by avodah zara. Chai behem teaches me any mitzvah that you're supposed to live. If they tell you to be over a mitzvah, you live. We have b'chol nafshecha. They tell you to be over avodah zara, you die. We have Naim Marasa to teach me gili arayos, and we have the svara of what of your blood being redder than mine to teach me what to teach me misa shvichas damim. Okay, these are the big three. Okay, says the Gemara. Ki aser Rav Dimi. When Rav Dimi came off from Eretz Yisrael, Rabbi Yochanan, he said, "Name Rabbi Yochanan, lo yishanu that a regular avera yerag yavav al yerag ella shaloi b'shas gezeres hamalchus." It's not in a time where the goyim are trying to get us to do averis. Al b'shas gezeres hamalchus and the forcing Jews to do averis. Afilu mitzvah kala, even a mitzvah kala yechorig val yavar. Even the smallest mitzvah. If they tell you to be over it, you should be over it. So I quote the Chidush Yaran fellas. Is the first word you see on the screen is Yisrael? Yeah? Okay. I didn't, it's always only one line. So here's the one line that's not on the screen. The Chidush Yaran, Kosev Taima. What's the reason why, if it's b'shas gezeres malchus, that you die for even the smallest avera? The milsa, the b'shas umas ha'olam, choshvin levatel Yisrael min ha'Torah. Now you got it. In the time of the umas ha'olam, they're thinking of being levatel the Jews from Torah. Tzarich lases chizik kinegdon. You have to make a chizik opposite them. Tzarich lases chizik kinegdon. Shloi lekayim achshavasan. That this thought should not be fulfilled. Umutav sheyahargoi kama miyisrael. Better a few people die. V'ois achas min ha'Torah lo tevatel. And one letter of the Torah should not be mevatel. Bizman shein moitzin levatel oisam Yisrael b'chlal. When on a kloliistic rule, they want to go ahead and get the Jews. They want to get us for Judaism and attack Judaism. then afilu is achas of a Torah, we have to go ahead and give up our lives. V'im shamalahem afilu b'chadrei chadarim. And even if it's not b'fahesya, guys, this has nothing to do with b'fahesya or b'tzina. Even b'chadrei chadarim, even in the smallest rooms, right? Hadavim is sparsing. The matter will become known. It will become public. If they shematsu shaha'ilul gzeirasam, because they found that the gezer was successful. Even b'chadrei chadarim, they'll say, "Oh, I got this Jew to go ahead and change that." Ulefichach yachoreg val yavo. You die and don't be over. V'zeu kiddush Hashem, and that's the kiddush Hashem. V'ahavos hamakoim hakalelas l'chol b'nei Yisrael. And Avav HaKadosh Baruch Hu, that what is koilel all b'nei Yisrael. This is the lashon of the Ran. Aval kashein daitam lahavir klalas Yisrael. They're not doing it on a global term. They're not going ahead just to get the Yidden. They're not just going to get the Yidden. Eli yachid echad, either yachid echad, one. In other words, it's one particular individual. It's not a public thing. It's a one guy doing it to another Jew. Oishnayim Yisrael, even two people. Then imhi b'fahesya b'fnei asarim Yisrael. Then yehari v'yavar. V'imhu b'tzina yavar v'yerag. Guys, it's a beautiful chiddush that the Ran is telling us. If it's b'shas shmad in a way, it's a b'shas of Gezeres Malchus. This has nothing to do with b'fahesya. Each singular act is the act of Kiddush Hashem, because they want to be mavatal and nice in the Torah. However, if they're just fooling around with a few Jews, right? They're doing, they think it's a good idea to get a Jew to eat pig. Think great idea. Not because they're doing a klalistic thing. Then it depends. B'fahesya tzina. That's when it comes in. B'fahesya in front of 10 Jews, Chil Hashem, you got to die for that too. B'tzina not. But this nekuda of Gezeres Malchus, afilu says the Ram b'chadrei chadarim. The lashon chadrei chadarim is telling us there's no bigger tzina gedolah mizu. There's no bigger tzina less than that. Oh, but still, if their kavana was to eradicate Yahadus, no, then you have to die. So you have the big three that you die no matter what. You got Shas Gezeres HaMalchus, which is even more schwer, more severe, because you got to die afilu b'mitzvah kala. And then you have the concept of what, depending, if it's not Shas Gezeres HaMalchus, then it depends whether it's b'tzin or b'fehesya. So that's the Hagdara of the Sugya. Now, what's Pshat in mitzvah kala, that already is that we'll spend a little time on. So, my mitzvah kala, last line, Amar Rava bar Yitzchak, Amar Rav on Beis, afilu lishanuye araksa de masona. Says Rashi, the Heilige Rashi. Afilu lishanuye araksa de masona, swechanal. Shim derech ayrit kechavim liksher kach. It's the derech of the goyim to tie a certain way. V'derech Yisrael being an acher and a Jew to tie another way. Kigoin sheyesh tzad yahadus b'davar, the way you tie a shoe. There's a tzad yahadus. V'derech Yisrael liyos tznuyim, and the derech of Yisrael is to be tznuyim. It's a little cryptic what Rashi means. Afilu shinui zeh she'en kan mitzvah ela minig ba'alma yikadesh Hashem b'fnei chaver of Yisrael, in front of chaver Yisrael, because that's b'fahesya. When it speaks about Fahesya, you're speaking to Jews. So according to Rashi, it seems to be there was a minute to tie one way, and they wanted you to tie, the Jews tied another way, and they want you to tie like the Goyim. Then afilu b'Fahesya, then you would have to die. That's mitzvah kala. That's mitzvah kala. So the Ran's Gezeres Malchus is not this, right? This is the Fahesya part. This is the latter part of the Ran. Now, the Torah Chaim has a problem with Rashi's Pshat, saying that I don't have my Torah Chaim with me over here. I got this in the Magoli Sayom, so a Torah Chaim I would have printed. He seems to say that we find Kshira fellas. Why do you tie your left foot first? Because you're tefillin. It's your tefillin. Memela, if the Goyim want you to stop putting on tefillin, not only if the Goyim want you to stop putting on tefillin, do you have to yerek val yavar b'shas geres hamalchus b'fahesya, But even as your shoelace, the way you wear your shoelace, that's the tzushtel. He tzushtel's the shoelace from tefillin, that which of kshira, to go ahead and tie it that way. That was another pshat, a shiltis in Pashas Ve'era. Guys, listen to the shiltis in Pashas Ve'era. Let's say a guy, you're in front of an Avodah Zarah and money falls down. You're not supposed to pick up the money. You're not supposed to money because it appears like what you're bowing down to the Avodah Zarah, right? If you have a koitz, if you have let's say you have something in your shoe, you shouldn't go ahead right and front of the Avodah Zarah bow down. So this means that even in front of the Avodah Zarah, if the guy makes you untie your shoelace. In other words, the Rishonim, the Mefarshim are grappling with what's the shoelace, the concept of shoelace. So it's saying geschmack. The guy tells you in front of the Avodah Zarah, you know what, tie your shoe or untie your shoe. Don't listen to him, right? Because that's doing the Avodah Zarah. So the Torah Chaim connects it to tefillin, and the Shiltas connects it to what the Avodah Zarah. Rashi seems to be minig. Rashi says minig. Rashi's a little cryptic. Minig, ben farhesya, you have to stay away. Unbelievable. Says the Gemara Vaita. Amar Rav Yaakov, Amar Rav Yochanan. Ein farhesya pchusa me'asar b'nei adam. There's no farhesya less than 10 people. Pshita, Yisrael binin. Dichsiv, v'nikdashti b'soich b'nei Yisrael. And I was sanctified b'soich b'nei Yisrael. That I know when it speaks about Kiddush Hashem, it's speaking about what? In front of Bnei Yisrael. Boy Rav Yirmiyah, Tisha Yisrael, v'nachri echad. Let's say you have 9 Jews and 1 guy, Mahu. Would that be B'frahesya? Tashma, the Tani Rab Yanai, Achu the Rab Chia Barabba, the brother of Chia Barabba, Asya Toich from the Meraglim. Ksiv Hacham and Ikdashi B'soch B'nei Yisrael. Ksiv Hasam by the Meraglim, he bodlum mi Toicha Eda Azois. There were 12 Meraglim. Go ahead and deduct Kalev and Yeshua, gives you 10. So Mala Halam by the Meraglim is Asara, V'kuli Yisrael, they were all Jews. Afkan Asara, V'kuli Yisrael. Okay. Guys, this is the most famous Taisus in Shas. This is the most famous Kash in Shas. Right, the Gemara, the Esther b'frehes Yahave. Esther was b'frehes. Everyone knows that Esther was a Jewess, and Esther's living with Achashverosh. Esther's living with Achashverosh. So, how is she allowed to do that? It was b'frahesya. Good. So the Gemara answers Esther karka oilam. Esther, it was like karka oilam. Esther was what? She was passive. Okay. Toisus asked the bomb kasha. L'chari, you got a bigger problem over here. Why do you say it's totally in b'frahesya or not? L'chari, it's gili aroyos. And Gili Aroyas has nothing to do with Farhesya. Gili Aroyas is the big 3. It's Yerek Val Yavar al Aroyas, not because of what? B'Farhesya, that level. That's the B'Far. Now, what would be Aroyas? If you hold Bias Akum, is a problem. If you hold Bias Akum, is Bia with a Goy, is a problem. So Toisus Rabbeinu Tam, very famous Shita, Rabbeinu Tam says that Bias Akum is not a Bia. Akadekach, Rabbeinu Tam mated a Jewish woman, was with a guy. He was Megayer, and he didn't aser al boil. A site is asal bal asal boil. Since he was Megayer, so you see the bia before him wasn't a bia sal goil. The people argue with him vehemently, and the sheet is over here, fellas. I'm speaking at different sheetas. The sheeta over here of the Ran and in Muka Yosef is that there was no arroyas over here. Bia of an Akam is not a nerva. The only arroyas over here would be if you hold kasher avarati avarati. There's a daya that Mordechai and Esther were man and wife. Yes, you're familiar with this, guys? That Mordechai and Esther were man and wife. So here, Gili arroyas would be what? Would be, right? Gili arroyas would be a severe thing. So Freg the Taisus like that. Why is Taisus saying Esther b'fehesyahav? You got a bigger problem. There was a problem of arroyas over here. So I'd like to let's pick up Taisus by the Shitas of the Rivam. Let me find it. Okay, the first wide line, guys. The first very wide line right at the end. Says the Rivam, V'hadlei parech hacha, v'ha'esta aroyes have. Why are you just asking that Esther was b'fahesya? Ask a bigger question. Say it's one of the big three, and that has nothing to do with what b'fahesya. The kimle, the mahani time with the karka olam, le'inyan delay mechayev limser atzma mishum aroyes. The idea of karka olam would save her from not being over on aroyes. The Hamreitzeach Yalfinan, we learn from Reitzeach. Guys, where do we learn that you have to die? From guys, we learned the Hekesh Naim Rasa to Reitzeach, right? So we know that Arusa has to give over her life. Good. Now, listen to this Rivam, guys. For Reitzeach Kufa, Ki Mechayev Limser Atzmai, when is he mechuyev to give over his life? Hani Mili Koidim Sheyahori B'Yadayim, before he directly kills with his own hands. Where he doesn't do an action, they would throw this person on a baby, and the baby will get crushed. The Matzi Omar Adaraba, my chos is the Dama, the Chavroi Sumki Tfei, Dilma Dama Didi Sumki Tfei, Kivin Delay Ovid Maisa. Since you didn't go ahead and do a Maisa. Good? Guys, so what's the Rivam's teretz? Rivam's teretz is, you know why they said Esther b'fahesya akila royos? Because since Esther, right, was not, she could just be there. She could just be there and not act. It's no different than if you would use a person as a piece of lead and throw it on somebody else. And then the person would not be chayiv to go ahead and die. So if Esther, if she's not doing anything, she wouldn't be mechuv to die. And it seemed that they understood that. So what do they ask? So good, I can't be mechayiv al asa royas. But b'fahesya, guys, you hear? That's the kasha. Asa royas, I can't be mechayiv you since karka olam. So so therefore what? Esther b'fahesya, and what's the answer? Karka olam even helps for b'fahesya. That's why, guys. That's eye contact. That's why, guys. Frek toys the kasha. Why did the Gemara just ask Esther b'fahesya? They should have asked Esther what? Was in Arayas. After all, she was married to Mordechai. Good? And for the Rivam, the reason why we didn't say Esther was Asarayas is because we understood that Esther, if she didn't do anything, she would be Mechayev. Where do you see that from? Shafichas Damim. If the guy doesn't do anything and he's being used as a weapon, he's not Mechayev to give his knife. So too, if she's just being used and not doing anything, so what's the Gemara's teretz Esther kak oilam? Because you have a better kasha now. So forget about Aroyas. Esther b'fahesya hava. Esther was b'fahesya. People knew what she was doing. Jews knew what she was doing. And for the Gemara, kak oilam, as long as you're passive, even helps for that. That's the way the Rivam is going to learn the Torah over here, guys. Okay? Now, there is another, and this is definitely bloggable material. This is right up there. This is a shaitel flipper, as they say. Do you see anything on the screen? You do see something. Good?
Yeah.
Okay, let me get this in the middle of the screen. Okay, you guys see this? The lulai de mistafina, the pilpul behalacha, al pia zoyar, hava amina, the mashlei hukshe b'shas, that they didn't ask b'shas, kushya, the gili aroyes. Why didn't they say that was Gili Arayas? Why did they say B'fahesya? Mi Yushiv v'pshitis l'fia mavur b'sayra kodesh pashas kiseitze reish ayin vav aleph the ma'olam lo yibo la'achashverosh. Achashverosh never had relations with Esther. Shesholcha shadis b'mkoima. Esther sent a shade in her place. Al came parach hashas nemikomakam asam mishum b'fahesya. Even the oil lahoyim yodim is there. In other words, al saroyis, fellas, guys, geschmack. Al saroyis, there was no din of arayis. Why? It wasn't her. She wasn't doing anything. But 1 second, the Velt doesn't know she's not doing anything. The Velt thinks she's in the palace with the king, and therefore they said what? Esther b'fahesya. That's why they used that kasha and not the arayistic kasha. You hear the teretz, guys? The zayas geschmack. right? But Mela, that's why they, again, the big kasha of Toisis, why are you limiting it to Fehesya, Ayitz Gili Arroyas? So we have a few Terutzim. Rabbeinu Tam's Teretz, let's chaz riba, guys. Either Rabbeinu Tam's Teretz, that what? That Bias Goy is not a Bia. The Rivam's Teretz is that what? As long as you're passive, it's not, you would not be over Arroyas. Guys, Loit the Rivam, guys, you have to change the Girsa. This is what I was telling you on the Amid Aleph, fellas, right? On the Amid Aleph. Go back. Go up 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 lines up. You got to die and not be over. Afnai Murasa, not tehoreg, but yehoreg v'al tava. You can't take, of course, again, if she's passive, right, then she's not doing anything. So it's the horeg v'al yavar. It's going on the guy, not on. It's going on the guy. It's not going what on her. That's the Rivam. Okay, so then we have a few pshatim. Let's go weiter.
When we had this by Megillah, we had this shade, right? When
you had the same. You had Megillah, we spoke it out. We also had it in Ksubis, in the beginning.
Right.
Spoke it out. I know it. I know you heard it before, but I think in the context of the Gemara, Shas, it's Purim's coming up. Rabbi Avi is loving this. Purim's around the corner. It's geschmack as anything, guys. And I felt it could to spend a little time on this, a little more than just the daf. Do it as quick as we can finish. And it says Gemara Vaita. Okay. Esther Kakorim Haisa. Rava Omar, Hanos Atzma Shiny. Hanos Atzma is different. Rashi. Hanos Atzmoi. She'ena Oibit Kechavim Miskavin Haviroi Meirasoi. The guy being with the Jewess is not doing it. Oh, look, I'll show you that something against the Jewish God. The guy is mechavim for his own hana. El lanos atzma miskavin. Shiny. Ve'ein kan chil Hashem lihoreg al kach. Fred Gemara Esther b'frehes Yahavei. What? It's what? It's a chil Hashem. What's the teretz? The Welt knows that the reason why Achashverosh is being with Esther has nothing to do with Yadus. It has to do with he's a grubba. God a grubba. He was about time Shen Kamo. The guy was Mizana, who knows how many Basulim, right? Okay, so in Mela, there's no dinner Yerev al Yava. The dinner Yava, what's the dinner Yadus, right? So therefore, very geshmak. The Elite Mahachi, if you don't say this, Hai Kfake Vidinuke. Rashi brings that there used to be a Persian minig. They would go take the charcoals that were burning from all the places and put them in their temple and warm themselves up. So how in the world were the Jews able to give it? So Hanik Foki Vidinuke Hechi Avina Lahu. Eloi have to say Hanos Atzman Shiny. Hachanami Hanos Atzman Shiny. You see over here, Hanos Atzman is different. Because the Rava Latame, Rava who says that Hanos is different. The Amar Rava. Akim the Amalei li ha Yisrael. A Jew that says, a guy that says to Israel, Kotel aspasta b'Shabbat. On your Shabbos, cut aspasta. That's a third of its growth. B'Shodei l'chiyusa, and feed the animals. V'iloi, and if not, katel naloch, I'll kill you. Likotel, be killed. V'loi lachtei, and don't cut it. Why? He's doing it, guys. He's doing it what? To show that there's no Shabbos, right? However, he says, Shadil in Ahara. Excuse me, I learned wrong shot, guys. Excuse me, wrong shot. One more time. Akim do amalei lahayisrael. Kotel aspasta b'Shabbata b'shadil l'chiyusa. Go ahead, cut on Shabbos and feed the animals. V'iloi katlin lecha, and if not, I'll kill you. Lichtel, cut it. V'loi lichtel, and don't die, guys. Why? It's not a Shabbos tikadin. He wants to feed the animals. It happens to be Shabbos. He doesn't care. He wants you to work for him. However, he tells you, cut it on Shabbos and shadil in hara and throw it in the river. Oh, what does he want to do, guys? Throw it in the river? He doesn't want. Therefore, lekatle, right? Die, don't cut it. My timer, lavuri milsa kaboy. He goes away, he wants to be over Milsa. Okay, we'll stop over here.